Hi everyone! Welcome to TransByDef on Saturdays with Harley. So today's topic is Alice's topic, and it's your name. So my first pick out of my first name was Jamie. The reason why I went with Jamie was because my first name was James, and I felt like that was an easy transition from James to Jamie. I've seen some transgenders do that, where they take their boy name and turn it into a girl name, like Jack to Jackie, James to Jamie, and Chris to Christina. I've seen that, so I was gonna go that route, and it's definitely an easy transition to do. You do recognize your name because it's very similar to that, and it is easier for your family and friends and stuff like that. So I was gonna go by that, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't fit me. And then I remember all the times I ran into so many Jameses in the past. I just didn't like having a common name, and it's pretty common. Same thing with Jamie. It's a common name, and I noticed that there's been, I ran into a few transgenders already that their name is Jamie, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, no thing. It's just like I'm like, oh my gosh. I've been through that so much, and I just don't like having the same name as a lot of people. So, anyways, I decided not to go with that. I may go with that as my middle name, maybe not. Anyways, so I then resorted to my parents, and I was asking them, and I think my dad wanted to name me Mary. And I was like, holy shit, that actually sounds pretty cool. So I was actually thinking about Mary, and maybe for a middle name as well. But here's the thing, my mom wouldn't have allowed that if I was born a girl. And so I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, what would you have named me? And she's like, I think I would have named you after so-and-so, which is Clementine. And I'm like, Clementine? I'm like, no, not Clementine. I cannot choose that. And so she was laughing, and I'm like, no, there's no way I'm going to choose Clementine. That doesn't represent me. So now I'm left with no first name. And I remember starting this channel, and I didn't really have a first name. And I remember Joey, one of the girls earlier, she was trying to get everyone's name because we went by our screen names, and I'm like, oh my god, what could I go? What could I do? And I'm thinking hard about my name. I'm spending a lot of time, and I've been thinking for a while. And I'm thinking, I don't know if you know that picture, but that's the Joker. And I'm like, oh my goodness, something is going on with that. And I'm like, that represents me a little bit. The Joker's one of my favorite villains of all time. I get his sense of humor. I understand it. From Jack Nicholson's Joker, which, by the way, if you get me drunk enough, I will laugh like Jack Nicholson's Joker. I don't know, for some reason, I can laugh like that. I remember I did it a few times, and if you get me really drunk and you tell me to do that, I might actually do that, which is weird. But also Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger's Joker, they're great, and they're good characters, and I love them. So then I'm like, okay, what else? Maybe not the Joker, maybe it's too sad. That's crazy, So then I was like, oh, my great uncle, who died from Lou Gehrig's disease, he actually was a silent comedian. And I don't want to say his name just to protect his stage name and stuff like that. But what's crazy is he was a silent comedian, and I think his sense of humor rubbed off on me, because I think almost everything is funny in the world, and I laugh a lot, and I prank on people, I make jokes, I'll do some random stuff, and people think it's funny, and I'm like, I just think it's funny too. But so I was like, I need to choose a name that represents me, and I'm thinking of the Joker, and I'm like, oh my goodness, his girlfriend, Harley Quinn, she's awesome, she's great. And I'm like, that is a good name, Harley. And I'm like, it's rock, it's gothic, it's funny, and it's perfect for me. And so I decided, let me try Harley. And so what I ended up doing, if I ever set this in stone, it would be Harleen. would be my first name, and then Harley would be the nickname, because, I mean, you know, Harley is very androgynous too, but the thing is I've been used to a professional name and a nickname, James and then Jimmy. So it's always been this professional nickname, and I loved having that. And I think Harleen is very professional, and Harley is a pretty fun name. So I loved having that, and I'm gonna use that. And I think that's really where I'm gonna stick at. As far as recognition, I recognized Jamie a lot, and that was good, but I didn't like it. Harley is really difficult for me to recognize, because here's the thing: not too many people use it. My family doesn't use it that much. They try, but they don't remember. Some of my friends that I know, like, before, still forget, and then, like, at work I don't hear it because I'm part-time. And, like, I remember I went to this group, and I remember this girl called me across the room, like, Harley. I didn't even recognize it, and it really upsetted me. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't even recognize my own name. And I'm like, just like, oh. And it hurts, you know, when you don't recognize that. And I think after a while, once I start hearing it a lot, I'm gonna recognize it more, and I hope so, because I like the name. I want to keep it, and yeah, and so that's that. So anyways, that's the name, that's the topic for this week. I will see you next Saturday, and you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.